Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 5 of the 4-Star Podcast. I am your host, Jordan DuPont, joined with Teige Mullen and Andrew Freeman. As always, this is probably going to be the most disgruntled episode so far because we're going to fire right into the Cubs, and they have been, I think, not doing well is a little bit of an understatement. Just got done with couple series against the first one against the Cardinals, second one against the Twins, where we had an overall record of 2-4. No, yes, 2-4. Math, not my strong suit. So in my notes here, I have Nick would like to rip apart the Cubs. So Nick, I'll let you.
Yes,
go first.
I would like to rip apart the Cubs because nothing gets me angrier than losing a series to the Cardinals. Yeah, I went into that series like very excited because, hey, for once the Cardinals are the worst team in baseball, and then they win the series at Wrigley. It's ridiculous. So I've been trying to dig in because watching the Cubs for this past month or so has just been torture. So many close losses, and it seems like they can't gain any ground in the division. So I went back and I pulled stats since the sweep of the A's, which is basically the peak of when we were like, oh, hey, maybe this Cubs team might be good. They have an 8-15 record, which is not very good. And a lot of their struggles are coming with runners in scoring position, like we've been talking about for the past 2 weeks. So since that sweep of the A's, as a team with runners in scoring position, they have 237 plate appearances, which is 6 in the majors. So they're getting guys on base. They're finding themselves in the situation a lot. They have a batting average of 226 and an OPS of 660 as a team. That is 23rd and 25th in the league, respectively. Now, as a point of comparison, David Ross's career average is 229 and his OPS was 739. So they're hitting worse than the guy that's running the team. Their WRC plus is 82, 100 is average, so not good. They've grounded into 11 double plays, and that is first in the majors by a decent margin. No one else has more than 9. And we've been criticizing Eric Hosmer, and we will get to him later, but he's not even like really the big issue. He had that one game against the Cardinals where he came up with the bases loaded twice and nobody scored. So during that stretch, the Cubs have had 10 players that have had at least 10 plate appearances with runners in scoring position. Only 3 of those players are above 300. Seiya, Nico, and Trey Mancini. They have 2 players hitting above 200 in these situations. Dansby Swanson, 211, and Mervis is hitting 212. He's actually gotten 10 plate appearances in these situations already. Everyone else, the other 5 players, are below 200, and I have their batting averages up here. I'm going to sound like the dean from Animal House reading out all the GPAs. Patrick Wisdom, 190. Nick Madrigal, 143. Ian Happ, 133. Cody Bellinger, 063. Nelson Velasquez, and 11 plate appearances, 0.0. It's not good, and yeah, it's just not good. Somebody take over, or this is already going to go off the rails.
I'd say that's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it plays out for him. But it is not playing out well at all, clearly. Yeah, I was watching a couple of the games, and it was just brutal, especially that bouncing around a little bit here. The Twins series alone, Saturday and Sunday alone, we were outscored 27-4. And I know, again, we'll get to it. Hayden Wesneski had the worst start he's had so far. Marcus Stroman had the worst start he's had so far. But you still got to put up some runs. I mean, 27-4, that's worse than a football score.
How many times did the Bears put up? Actually, no, the offense was decent last year. They put up 27 points, a decent amount.
You think about the year before under Nagy.
Oh God.
We're not going to talk about those years.
Oh God.
Those were the dark times.
They were
before the Empire.
The Cardinals series a little bit. Of course, we got to talk about Wilson Contreras, unfortunately, and he seemed like he was beating us up pretty good, and he was very, very much enjoying his villain role. Every time he'd get on base, he'd do one of the bring it on with both hands in the air, raining down the booze and everything. And I mean, he talking about hitting with runners in scoring position. I think the man had 3 RBIs over the course of the series.
Yeah, he did. 3 RBIs over the series. He was, if I can do my math right, because I split it into games, he was 3 for 11, 2 walks, 3 RBIs. The first game he went 2 for 4. That was when he was really feeling it. Yeah. Cubs fans need to remember that he loves the villain role. If you boo him, that only makes him stronger. Like, we know this.
Oh man, yeah. I do want to say, like, definitely, I am still on board with letting Wilson walk in free agency.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think this is a sign that we, made the wrong decision, but it was a little bit tough seeing him beat up on us.
Yeah,
not gonna lie. So yeah, we lost the Cardinal series. Game 1, we lost 3-1. Game 2, we lost 6-4. We did wind up winning Game 3. Ironically enough, guess who was making his return from the injured list? Yan Gomes. So Tucker Barnhart wasn't catching. I know we spent a bit of time last week talking about
where's that tracker at?
The catchers. Yeah, Teige, do you have the tracker handy?
I do. Hey.
Get it up.
It's on my phone. Okay, so we currently sit at Yan Gomes' starts heading into today. He is 15-5. Tucker Barnhart is 4-12. Miguel Amaya is 1-3.
And Amaya's back down in AAA, which if you follow us on Twitter, shout out to @4StarPodShy on Twitter. I put out a tweet, the Iowa Cubs, or I retweeted something the Iowa Cubs tweeted in Miguel Amaya's AAA debut, because remember, he skipped AAA. He came directly up from AA. He went 4 for 4.
Yeah.
I don't want to go on a tirade here, but dude just hit 4 for 4.
What the Cubs are going to do with Barnhart? I think I lost you guys briefly.
No, you're good. You're good.
No, we can hear your audio. Your video's just jumping
Sweet.
around.
All right. Yeah. So, I don't know what the Cubs are going to do with Barnhart, and because next year Barnhart does have a player option. So if the Cubs really want to get rid of him, they can, but they're going to have to eat a little bit. It's a small contract, anyways. But I mean, obviously, it's a good place to be with all the and we've mentioned it last week, and we'll keep mentioning it, that it's a good place to be with all the Cubs prospects that we have.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
Yeah. Again, if you're not putting your best 26 men on the field, what are you doing? I mean, we've been talking about this all season, and it's finally getting to the point where it's legitimately getting frustrating because we are losing a lot of games we should be winning. And if you have a guy that's got I think he may have bumped it up to being a right around 200 batting average. He did have a couple of, I think he hit an RBI yesterday, if I remember right. So it picked it up a little bit, but still, I mean, you got a guy that was crushing the ball when he was up, skipped AAA, and then went 4 for 4 in his AAA debut versus a guy that can't hit the ball at all and is 4-12 in his starts behind the plate. DFA him, eat the contract. I mean, we have options.
Bold of you to assume the Ricketts are just going to eat that contract.
They ate Hayward's.
Very bold thing to assume.
Yeah, but they still started Hayward, and they kept him in the lineup for most of the year. And Hayward was in the last year of his deal. I mean, Tucker Barnhart still got his deal. Look, I want to see it too, but what can you do?
Look, leadership though in the clubhouse, guys.
That's what Hosmer's for, right?
Yeah, right. That's what Yan Gomes is for. You have a veteran catcher, but admittedly, I don't have these luxury tax numbers or anything in front of me. But I feel like the Cubs are not really pushing the luxury tax. I think we can afford to eat.
Well,
the beer bat was $34. They're not pushing for.
No. Honestly, you're in the third biggest market here. As one of the two seasons, the third biggest market, like the luxury tax things is a load of crap. Like you should not be worrying about the luxury tax if you're the Ricketts. I know it's not my money to say that, but like, come on, you can easily make that up.
But again, when they bought the team from the Tribune Company, their whole thing was like, oh, we want to invest in the team. We want to build up the neighborhood. We want to bring winning baseball back to Chicago. And I know in years past, before we even talked about having our own podcast, we had discussed how much it can seem sometimes that the Ricketts are just willing to ride the coattails of the one World Series win in 2016 to get by as long as they need to. And no, that is not how this is going to work. We got a taste of winning. We want more. You can't, and admittedly, going out and signing Dansby Swanson, really good indicator that they are starting to want to spend money again. And I know you have to do it in the right places, and I know there's strategy involved in that. But at the same time, you need to decide right now, are we competing this year or are we still tanking this year?
And that's kind of the point I wanted to bring up, Jordan. And that's kind of like we're at this point now where are we, like a quarter of the way through the season, quarter, 1/3 of the way through the year? I know
we're a little past a quarter.
A little past a quarter, right? So we're still in May, but once you get into June, we're going to be into June, here pretty shortly here. And once you get around the All-Star break era, you have to, I think, start making decisions on, whether we want to be sellers here or buyers here. And I think it's starting to trend in the direction where I think the Cubs, you probably have to be looking to sell at this point. But like, that's the thing, like who are the guys that, the Cubs can realistically sell on?
I think it's really just Belly.
And then like the bullpen guys, if they can get anything out of there. Michael Fulmer, if he's, I'm pretty sure he's only on a 1-year deal.
Right. And the name I was thinking about, and we talked about, like, because Ty kind of talked about this like last week, would it be a good idea to sell on Bellinger with him having a resurgent year and seeing if you can get anything out of him on a 1-year deal? What would you be able to even get anything, great out of that?
I mean, we got Pete Crow Armstrong for 2 months of the worst version of Javi Baez. We got Hayden Wisniewski out of, which I know we'll talk about his struggles in a little bit. We got him for Efros for the Yankees, and I think Efros like immediately had Tommy John surgery after that. So you can if you can identify talent that you like in other organizations and you can find a guy you like. The other part that's interesting here is that like the NL Central sucks. Like it just absolutely sucks. The Cubs are only 4 games back, and despite that awful stretch where they were 7 or 8 games under 500, they're still in striking distance. The Brewers aren't pulling away. The Pirates, the Pirates are 2 for 8 in their last 10. They're coming back down to earth. So I mean, it's sort of one of those things. Do you sneak into the playoffs? Maybe even if this isn't the year that you're competing, do you get those guys, the young guys especially, like playoff experience? How valuable is that? I don't know. This next stretch coming up is going to be really important for them because it is brutal. You got the series with Houston, then you got Philly, the Mets, Cincinnati, and then the Rays to end the month. So it's just going to be a pretty brutal couple weeks for the Cubs. So
a couple points I wanted to make. First off, to muddy the waters even more in the playoff picture, if I'm looking at my standings table right, because I don't have the wild card in front of me, as it sits, I believe we're a half game out of the wild card too. So, it's not even just necessarily 4 games back to win our division. We're in the wild card hunt right now with as bad as we are. And I know we can do more, and that's what's frustrating. But yeah, going over that stretch that we have coming up here, I mean, to me, the only real clear winnable series that you just mentioned is Cincinnati.
The Reds. Yeah,
that's it. Everything else, it's going to be a struggle, especially Astros. I was watching a little bit of the game before we started recording, and it was tied. Thank you, Christopher Morel, which again we will get to. But talking about perennial World Series contenders, cheating scandal aside. And, the Rays are the hottest team in baseball right now. So it is going to be a tough stretch. And I think that's really going to show us, what we're made of here coming up. Do you guys have anything else you wanted to add about the Cardinals series, or do you want to move on to the Twins?
Well, we can talk about Eric Hosmer if we want.
Do we want to do that here, or do we want to wait until let's do it
that
as
okay, go for it.
Oh wait, no, you're the host, Jordan. I'm sorry, I overstepped.
Well, not the host. We're all co-hosts here.
Does not matter to me.
But you're like the captain steering the ship. I'm the dude.
Okay,
chugging barrels to rum.
You know what? I think we'll have enough to say about Hosmer that it's not necessarily just a Cardinals series thing. So let's talk about the Twins. And
oh no, did we lose him?
We can launch Eric Hosmer into the sun.
All right, do it.
So, like I had previously mentioned, 3-game series against the Twins. We won the first game, which I was like, oh my God, there's hope. And then we got outscored 27-4 over the next 2 games. It was a rough showing. Again, Hayden Wesneski had his worst start all year and got sent back down to Iowa today. So hopefully he can figure out, it looked like it was a lot of just command issues from what I saw. So hopefully he can kind of, take a step back, breathe a little bit in Iowa and, get that figured out. Marcus Stroman also had his worst start of the year. It was a rough showing by Cubs pitchers, which is supposed to be our strongest suit right now. So yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have anything you want to dig in on?
No, that's we're kind of, I guess we're being a dead horse here, but we keep talking about offense and riffs, runners in scoring position. Cause like you're going to have bad days in pitching, like you're going to have to just, sometimes the team has to stay competitive. Wesneski, I'm excited for him. I do. I think he's got the potential, right. What does potential mean for anybody? But yeah, even earlier in the year, I've seen some of the starts where I'm like, ooh, buddy, you got to lock this in before Hendricks gets back. And that last start, that's, and one of our group chats, I told the guys, I was like, he's getting sent down. And Nick was like, oh, I'm not entirely, well, hang on. And
I was
like,
hopeful.
Dude, yeah, you're hopeful, but I just like AAA, it is a good spot, right? It's a good spot for him to figure out some of these command issues and stay stretched out because he's going to be a starter and they want him as a starter. That's clear. That's why you put him in AAA so you can keep getting every 5 days. The Stroman start, hey, it happens. He's a pitch to contact pitcher, and watching it, I'm not a pitching coach, but even watching him, like the first half inning, I was like, oh, he's gonna be like this all day. Like get ready for the bumpy ride. It's not gonna get better. Just like the moment he was throwing the ball, you could tell he wasn't feeling it. I hope he's okay. I hope he's feeling good physically. Sometimes though, you're just fighting your body. You got like a mini yips, and you just can't throw the ball over the plate where you want it to. So yeah. When you have these blowups and as a pitcher, you have to go out there and say, how do I keep my team competitive? Okay, I'm doing the best I can, but yeah, the bat's got to wake up, and we're going to keep talking about it over and over again. Bat's got to wake up because they haven't. And now that Nico's on the IL, it's been kind of scary because it's like, if one guy goes down, and now we got Mancini and Hosmer playing every day. Like, what are we? Or not Mancini and Hosmer. We have Madrigal playing every day.
I don't know how much more I could take a Madrigal leading off. I really
and he's really not the guy.
He should be bottom of the lineup.
No,
he should definitely be bottom of the lineup.
He's like your. I mean, I don't know. I guess I don't know what your prototypical 9-hitter is nowadays, but I mean that's kind of where I always just kind of envision him. It's like, yeah, okay, you can sit down there, and like because even the first day that he was leadoff hitter, he had a great day leading off. But it was like, see, now Ross is going to think that this is a good move. It's not. You got lucky one day, and really you should.
And I do want to say, you're 100% valid with the bat. The bat, he's a soft contact hitter. And he's not really doing much of that. However,
I think he's only had like 2 barrels in the past 3 years. 2 barrels in an era where it's all about barreling up the ball. Like, how do you have 2 barrels in like 3 years, man? It's insane.
Everybody lost the Kimbrel trade. I do want to say though, everyone lost it.
Yeah.
Cody Hoyer is the only piece that's left.
If he ever plays again. Yeah, we haven't even seen him really. Yeah. I do want to say though, Madrigal's defense was and has been pretty sharp. He's had a few really great plays. All his throws over when he was playing third looked good. So I'm not missing Nico's defense as much. I mean, I am because I love watching it, but I don't think we're missing the defense nearly as much as we're missing the bat.
Look, sure, we're not missing the defense as much, but like that's why he's a bench bat. He's a defensive bench bat. He's to go in for when Morrill is like done hitting.
I am sure
you're missing 10-5.
You're missing the bat, and you're also missing the base running because Nico's a great base runner. Well, the stolen bases, that's super important in your leadoff hitter. And Madrigal, I feel like every other game I watch, he just messes up on the bases or he gets thrown out somewhere. Or
he like can't make up his mind whether he wants to be a great base runner or a horrible one. Because I remember there was a game he came in to pinch run for and then got thrown out at home, and he blew past the stop sign. I mean, who's our third base coach? I know Napoli's on first. I can't remember third base coach, but third base coach's name. He throwing up stop signs like crazy. Ran down the line to make sure that Madrigal could see him, and he just, nope, I'm doing it, and got gunned down at the plate. And we're all just sitting there like, man, what are you freaking doing? But then he has some great base running plays too. So it's like he's not just mediocre. It's either great or horrible, and there's no in between.
By the way, our third base coach is William Harris.
Got it.
Willie Harris.
Willie
He's been there a long
I don't know
time,
why I
too.
couldn't remember Willie Harris.
Yeah, I know, and he's been there forever. Whatever.
Yeah, I can picture his face. I just the name
It's baseball 101. Like if you're gonna blow by the stop sign, you better be safe.
Otherwise,
you're gonna ride some time. And I don't know if he really got punished for it either. I mean,
No, he really didn't.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, like that's it's such a simple thing, but it's like it really is. Like if you're gonna go home and try to score, you better score.
Yeah,
got a spot on you. Yeah, a spot for you on the bench. So that's all.
So I will say the one good thing, not that anybody being injured is ever a good thing, but the one good thing that has come of Nico Horner being injured is Chris Morel is getting everyday playing time. He's really been the one bright spot. I pulled up the stats before we started recording today. This is through yesterday, which if I remember correctly is his 5th game in the majors this season. 5 games. He is currently hitting, again, through yesterday, 381 with 3 home runs. He added another one today against the Astros. A 1238 on base plus slugging percentage, which is just astronomical. And again, in 5 games, he is already worth 0.4 WAR. And for those of you that, again, aren't huge baseball stat nerds like we are here, WAR stands for wins above replacement. So if you're worth 0 WAR, you're just there. Positive WAR means you're basically worth that many wins. If you're negative WAR, it means you've cost your team this many wins. So in 5 games, Christopher Morel is already worth half of a win by himself, which is just I'm glad he finally got the call up. And again, with Horner being injured, he's getting that everyday playing time.
Same. I have a lot of comments about WAR later. That might be a 180, or if we do that blog thing later. Anyways,
WAR. What is it good for?
What is it good for? I started writing like a little essay for like a blog piece I want to do about it. Anyways, no, I do think at this rate, I think if you're gonna have Wisdom in the lineup, he's just gonna be DH. Push Hosmer, Mancini out at this rate. If you're not gonna bring up Velasquez, because I think Morel needs to play. I think he needs to stay playing third
every single day.
Nico goes back. Yeah, when Nico goes back. You have Chris at third. He's not the best defensive third baseman, but whatever. Who cares? Yeah, if his bat is as good as this, every team in the history of
it's not going to matter.
Take that. Exactly. And then you got all these.
Again,
outfield, so
with him hitting another day, that's 4 in 6 games. I heard a stat again watching the game before we started here. Going into today, Christopher Morel has 14 professional home runs. So between AAA and MLB this year, that is tied for the lead. And again, he just added another one. So Christopher Morel through AAA, all of professional baseball, minor leagues, major leagues, he has the most home runs out of anybody this year, which is
and just a quick point about his defense, Tag. You had mentioned that he's not the best defender at third base, but he is really athletic and he can make really athletic plays. Like he came in at second, I believe. At that point, like he hadn't played second all year. Maybe he played a little bit in Iowa, and he just made a few great plays. So I feel
definitely. Yeah, and I'm excited for it. And I love tracking players like odds above average and stuff like that. I love tracking that. And obviously, again, eye test versus analytics. So I'm excited. I think he'll be fine. And like I said, though, you don't need a good third baseman as long as they hit.
When he hits like that, who cares?
Yeah,
how his defense is.
Yeah, it's it
could be a traffic cone out there. It's fine.
I don't want to fully commit to this comparison, but with him being able to play all over the diamond and with the bat, freezing cold takes circa 2025. But no, with him being able to be a super utility guy and with the bat as incredible as it is, it's almost like we got Chris Bryant again. Except he can play the infield or play the middle infield. Chris Bryant never played short or second, and Morel can. But I know he was in an outfielder in Iowa, we got him playing some second. He's played some third. So, I mean, it really is a super utility guy. And I think the last guy that we had that could do that and hit was Chris Bryant, because Ian Happ has not been hitting for power lately.
If he gets hurt in the next couple of weeks, I'm blaming you. Just throwing this out there.
I didn't put him on the Madden cover.
Yeah, but you compared him to Chris Bryant. Who,
Yeah,
no
is,
Madden,
you know, I don't
comparing
need
him
to
to Chris
explain.
Bryant's the same
okay.
thing.
Yeah,
Katie's been healthy this year for whatever that's worth.
Yeah.
He has. Yeah. He has been healthy this year.
So far. Knock on wood.
If you couldn't hear, I have a fake IKEA wood. Well, I guess it's technically real wood, but it's pressed wood table. So I knocked on that for Chris Bryant, because we still do like Chris Bryant. Just because he's not here doesn't mean we don't.
Always.
So I have a couple more notes here about what's happened since the Twin series. Again, Jan Gomes returned, came back from the 7-day IL with a concussion, hit a home run in his first game back, which was awesome. Just returning right to form, still cranking the ball. But that did cause Miguel Amaya to get sent down to Iowa, which, again, we are not happy with. Nico Horner did get sent to the 10-day IL with his hamstring tightness. It was retroactive to the day it happened, though, so should be Mastroboni got called up from Iowa in a move, or corresponding move is the right word. If I remember correctly, he basically did nothing the first time he was up at the beginning of the season, so I'm sure we have more of that to look forward to.
Yep.
Brandon Hughes came back off of the injured list, which corresponding move sent Javier Assad back down to Iowa. And today we had Brent Boxberger going to the IL. Jeremiah Estrada and Nick Birdie were called up, and Hayden Wesneski was sent back to Iowa. So that's pretty much all I got for the Cubs. And I know you guys want to yell about Eric Hosmer, so I'll let you get to it.
Real quick, and that same prediction when I was like, Wesneski's getting sent down, Nick was like, nah, they're going to give Boxberger Phantom IL stint first.
There we go.
Get on the IL, so I don't know.
I forgot about that.
So we're both correct.
Oh, my God. Okay.
Yeah,
Quick
we can talk about
sidebar
Eric
here.
Yeah.
Quick sidebar. Did you guys hear about AJ Przinsky saying what he wanted his fake injury to be at the end of the season when he was with the Braves?
No.
I did not hear that. No.
A groin tightness?
180 degrees around the corner.
I'm going to make you say it.
We're a PG-13 show, so I will just say, if you're interested, Google what AJ Przinsky's phantom injury was going to be when he was on the Braves. It's very funny, and again, has to deal with 180 degrees from his groin. But sorry, Ty, talk about Eric Hosmer. Get angry.
Oh gosh, I feel like
Old smash. Let's go.
Look, hey fans. So, all right. So I've been following the Padres as well for a long time, basically since Hosmer's been on the Padres, because my wife is from San Diego. You know, I kind of had like a secondary team. So I want to talk a little about Eric Hosmer. Now, since joining the Padres, he's only had 1 year where his OPS has finished above 800. That year, you can take a guess. Anybody want to take a guess what that year is?
Like 2008?
No, since joining the Padres.
Oh, since joining the Padres?
I forget how long. In 2013? No, he hasn't.
No, he's not been that long. I want you to think of what would be a fluky
2016.
year.
2016.
Nope. It was on the Royals in 2016. Anyways, it was 2020, fellas. The only year he's had a good year since joining the Padres, including through the time with the Cubs, was the year that doesn't really count,
the
right?
COVID shortened season.
Yes. So yes,
I
exactly.
see what you're
so
going
it's
for.
2020. Right. Okay.
We got there,
I guess I
everybody.
should have made that. Yeah, I should have made that more clear. But he's only had 4 years total, where his OPS has been above 500, or excuse me, 800, not 500. He's had 4 years total where his OPS has been above 800. That's not good for what you want from your starting first baseman. Oh, Ty, well, what about defensive qualities as first baseman? I got you covered there too. Since 2016, his outs above average, which is the new defensive sabermetric tool, -39. That's bad. And if you're not an outs above average guy, his overall defensive run saves for his career, -20. His overall ultimate zone rating from Fangraphs throughout his career, -37.3. You're not getting a plus first base defender. You're not getting a plus first base bat. You want to talk about those bases loaded situation on May 9th. And both times He had the bases loaded, bottom of the second and the bottom of the seventh inning. All right, both times he got out, which dropped the Cubs' win probability, negative 14.3% on the bottom of the second and then in the bottom of the seventh, it was negative 11.6%. On both cases, it dropped the Cubs' win probability to an even 50%. All the guy has to do in both cases is just get one run in. Like, he's a ground ball machine. He's only had one above average. He's had above average WOBA, which is weighted on base average. We mentioned last week. We'll mention it a lot more times, which is like WOBA and WRC plus. Thank you. Those stats are like the new stats that you want to measure a hitter's worth by. He's only had above average year 5 times in his 13-year career. He's a first baseman. And he's only had a great year once, which was 2017. That was his last year at the Royals. And he's never had a great year by definition with WRC plus. And my final point, I have 2 final points. All right. Whether you look at it through the lens of an old school lineup or a new school lineup, and for sake of brevity, I'm not going to explain that entirely, but I'd love to kind of go more into how analytics drive new school baseball lineups. The guy should not be batting 6th in your lineup. Okay.
You shouldn't be batting in your lineup, period.
You shouldn't be batting in lineup. Yeah, but if you are with the DH now, so that it's 1 through 9, you're gonna have hitters. I mean, he's an 8 guy at best or a 9 guy, depending on how you want to arrange your 9 hitter. But he shouldn't be in the lineup. And we keep talking about I don't know. I think David Ross he falls too much in love a little bit, and the organization a little bit with we're getting proven winners in. Okay, great. Well, you don't need Hosmer to have World Series winners on your team. First of all, the guy managing the team won with the Cubs. Second of all, you still have Hendricks coming back. He won a World Series. You have Yan Gomes. He won a World Series. Trey Mancini won a World Series. So you want Dansby Swanson, the guy that you just went out to get, won a World Series. If you want World Series veteran leadership, you have it with much better bats, much better guys that can bring up these new guys. I get it. He's been a mentor for Mervis. Mervis has been kind of struggling, but I'd rather have a young 26-year-old first baseman try to figure it out. Rizzo had to figure it out too when he first came up, than have Eric Hosmer's dumb bat in the lineup. I've been watching this guy for 5 years, man. I don't want to swear more, but how does he keep getting in the lineup? Make him a coach. I don't know.
Hey, Ross,
make him
Ross, Jed.
Cow.
Put Teige out of his misery.
Look, yeah, I'd rather have
Hosmer.
Mancini bat, because at least Mancini's like a feel-good story, but Mancini ain't much better at this rate. And I love Mancini, fought cancer, won, awesome. I love that story. He's not great either. If you're gonna do this,
he's been doing better.
He's been doing a bit better, but I'd rather just have Velasquez up or have Morrill play and Wisdom can DH when Nico comes back. Why? Whatever. I'm done. I'm off the horse.
So not to completely diminish everything you just said, because that was some excellent analysis. Thank you, Teige, for that. But with a negative defensive metrics, negative offensive metrics, apparently the Cubs are mathematicians, because they must think 2 negatives make a positive. Don't laugh.
Yes.
I mean, think about it, though. That is the only logical explanation for leaving that man in the frickin' lineup.
Because who do we get first? We get him or Mancini first?
I think
it was Hosmer. We got Hosmer first.
I think it was Hosmer.
Okay. Regardless, whoever we get first, getting the other guy was pointless. It was just like Jed started just buying, because Jed was like, well, we got Swanson and everybody else that was on the market, screw it, so let's just hand some guys some contracts. Stop putting him out there, David Ross. I don't know, this isn't the business of feelings, right? You want to win, and Ross claims how he wants to figure it out and how we're gonna figure it out. Well, there's step 1. Is stop putting this guy's bat in the lineup. Whatever, I'm done.
Yeah, the easiest way to win baseball games is making sure you have your strongest lineup on the field, and that has not been happening this year. We're a lot more likely to have it now that Mervis and Morel are up. Again, he sent Amaya back down, who was crushing the ball and just went 4 for 4, not to keep beating that dead horse. And I know, we'll dig into it more next week, but I know today the Cubs were going against Framber Valdez, who he's a lefty. Nobody's been putting lefties in against him. So Matt Mervis sat. you might as well give the kid some at-bats, and his first 2 hits were off of lefties. I'm just saying. Yeah. Anyway, we should probably move on from the Cubs, or we're going to be here for an hour, and that's the entire length of our show.
But no,
so
we did sign Hosmer first. Hosmer signed on the 13th, Mancini on the 21st of January.
Okay, and fine. Sure,
but either way.
Do that either way. Because neither of their bats are valuable. Moving on.
All right. We can talk Bears now.
So the series again today is against the Astros. That is going to be Monday through Wednesday, off day Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We are in Philadelphia, the land of hating Santa Claus, for a 3-game series against the Phillies. So now we can move on to the Bears. The schedule just got released, and per usual, a lot of the PR teams did some awesome schedule release videos. Bears were top 5. Chargers still win. Chargers win last year. They win this year.
I don't know. I think the Titans win. Yeah,
Titans
I think
win.
the Titans win.
Look, you're not. For me, you're not beating the anime. Especially, we are playing the Chargers this year. And for those of you that have not seen the schedule release video,
I don't know, man. The Titans video makes me die of laughter every time.
It was good.
The non-sports
the
fans.
subtle jabs in the Chargers video. The Bears
making casual fans look really stupid.
I'm calling the Falcons the Red Stallions.
Red Stallions.
They're calling themselves the Red Stallions.
Remember, guys,
she went Red Stallions like a cat. I'm like, what is that? That's not a stallion.
No. The best part is that there were multiple people who mistake the Indianapolis Colts as being the Dallas Cowboys. That was the funniest part. Multiple people thought that the Indianapolis Colts were the Dallas Cowboys.
Well, they're both blue, Andrew.
The Colts went on their Twitter and changed.
Like,
their
how do you
Twitter
mistake
name
a
to
horseshoe for a star? How does that happen? Twice.
It's a horseshoe, so it's obviously the
one guy that was clearly stoned was like, "Oh, that's just the football logo for the Browns."
Oh yeah, that was good too. I don't know. For me, I still think the Chargers win, and it might be a little biased, but the Chargers for us did a rebuild a bear workshop. And the back wall was all of our quarterbacks. There was Mitch, and it was a speech bubble on the back wall that said, "I love to kiss ... For those of you that don't know, before Mitch got drafted, awesome tweet that got dug up of his saying that he liked to kiss something specific. I don't know. The whole wall of quarterbacks was great. Rex Grossman, I went to a Super Bowl, Smoking Jay. I mean, it was good. It was well done. And they did a couple other jabs at some other teams too, but I won't focus on those because they're not Chicago. But anyway, schedule has been released. We are getting very sidetracked today.
We are.
Yeah.
Do you guys have any particular matchups you're looking forward to? Any that you think are going to be easy wins? Any you think we're going to get blown out on?
Yeah.
Well, go ahead.
First of all, a couple just general things to note. Preseason game, the Bears are doing joint practices against the Indianapolis Colts. So what teams do is that during training camps is if they're playing teams in the preseason, the week before they'll have the team over for practice and they'll basically spend the entire week practicing. So that's one thing to note. The Bears they have 2 Thursday night games this year against the Commanders and the Panthers. Yeah, I
hate Thursday night games. I hate Thursday night football as an institution unless it's Thanksgiving. It's just
correct.
The game always sucks.
Yeah. So and we have to be on the Amazon broadcast, which they are interesting to say the least. And they also have a Monday night game against the Vikings, I believe. I think they're at Minnesota. Yeah, they're at Minnesota for that one. So a couple primetime games there. Yeah, we'll see about
Shout out Kirk Cousins.
But I think the game for me that stands out, and that's really going to be the most telling, is Week 1 against Green Bay at home. Yep. It's going to be Justin Fields against Jordan Love, and I think it's really going to be kind of like a telltale sign of what this rivalry is going to look like going forward. Because obviously the Packers trading Aaron Rodgers, bring me back memories of Nick's epic rant on that. But
check it out on YouTube if you haven't.
Check it up on YouTube, yeah. But yeah, we really don't know. Like, we can talk as much crap as we want about Jordan Love as a guy who hasn't played in 3 years, and clearly the Packers aren't totally sold on him, considering the 1-year extension they gave him, which is kind of like it's a really weak extension for him in terms of money wise for him, which I'm not going to get into. But it's really going to say a lot, I think, about where these two franchises are going forward, because the Bears made a lot of moves to add talent around Justin Fields this offseason. And the Packers are kind of in a rebuilding spot right now, right? So they traded Aaron Rodgers. They're kind of in cap hell right now. They're trying to kind of figure out, I guess, like where the direction they're going as a franchise. So I think that's going to be one of the games that really sets the tone for this year. And if the Bears, can get ahead on the Packers there, Bears fans are going to be talking trash to Packers fans like for the rest of the season until that.
Oh, that's what I said last week when we were talking about the Cardinals. If the Packers and the Cardinals suck, all of you watching this show, just be prepared.
We're going to be unbearable.
We will not shut up about it.
Pun not intended.
Yeah, we will not shut up about it. We don't even care. Like, again, being Bears fans, we know we're not going to the Super Bowl. It's out of the cards. It's not going to happen. Sidebar, I have us pegged at 8 wins. We'll get into that in a minute. But we know we're not going to the Super Bowl. Our Super Bowl every year is playing the Packers. I don't care if we win 2 games all year, as long as one of them is at Soldier Field against the Packers and the other is at Lambeau Field against the Packers. I am happy. That's a win on the year.
Yeah, just for the sake of brevity, because we are running this thanks to the Cubs. For me, I got what games do I have circled? I got both Packers games, of course, because I hate the Packers so much. And then Chargers, because this great familial connection, and then also the Panthers, because Panthers Twitter, they're getting barky. So is the Jets Twitter. Jets and Eagles Twitter, like in terms of smack talking our quarterback, which we don't have them on the schedule, but the Panthers Twitter now, they're getting feisty. So I hate Thursday Night Football.
To be fair, I feel like Bears Twitter instigated that a little bit.
That's true,
with them wanting the
which
Panthers
is always
to lose.
the case. Bears Twitter always instigates that, and then they always like, oh, well, we didn't instigate. It's like, yeah, you did.
Yeah,
fucking dumbasses. Anyway,
there it is. There's the one.
There we go.
I have my beef with Bears Twitter. I'm sorry, guys. Yeah. I've had to live that life for what 3-4 years now.
Yeah,
I don't blame you. Just got to make it fun. I'm gonna go a bit different direction in the game I circled. Obviously, the divisional games, the Packers games are big. I'm circling Week 4 against Denver, and this is why. Last year, we know how bad the Bears were last year, but I remember being subjected to the Nathaniel Hackett's Denver Broncos in primetime games, like the first 3 weeks of the season. I watched that team like every week, and I'm sitting there like week in, week out. I was like, I wish the Broncos were on the schedule. The Bears would beat this team. And now I know they got Sean Payton, but I feel like Russell Wilson is washed. And I think, a Justin Fields, Russell Wilson quarterback matchup would be, let him cook, and he sets the whole damn kitchen on fire.
You're not eating what he's putting down.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm actually really interested in that game. That's really it.
Yeah, I'll say one more game I'm interested in, and mostly because I really want to go to this game. I'm trying to figure out a way to go to this game, but Bears at Arrowhead against the Chiefs. Yeah. I don't think they have a chance of winning that game, but I just think for the entertainment factor alone, seeing Mahomes on the field, and Justin Fields would probably do his thing against that defense. I'll just say, like, I'm hoping that I get the chance to go to that game. It's probably not going to happen because the ticket prices are just insane right now. Looking into it, but Arrowhead's one of the best stadiums in the NFL, period. And yeah, I'm sure it's going to be a wild Sunday afternoon.
Like some of the best barbecue from what I hear. So I want to go. Too.
Yeah.
Kansas City does have good barbecue. I was kind of hoping we were away for the Cardinals game, because then I could actually go to it, but that is not the case. So might have to plan a trip back to Illinois.
And I'm already circling that as a win already, by the way. That's one of those easy ones.
I'm hoping. Yeah, like I said, I don't remember which ones I tallied, but I have us sitting at 8 wins on the year. Where are you guys at, Nick? I think you had said 10.
I did say 10. I'm an optimist.
And that's with 8 and 9 as well.
That's with us going. Mine is with us going 3-3 in the division. So it's not like we're just beating up on the North.
I also said 3-3 in the division.
Yeah,
but I put.
I always try to keep it balanced in the division, because division games are just weird in general. So I think 3-3 in division is fair. Like here's the thing: like the Lions probably look like the best team in the division right now, but I don't think there's truly a dominant team in the NFC North this year. Like the Lions are going to be the best team probably in the division, but still you have Jared Goff at quarterback, so you never know what's going to happen there.
I mean, it's just the Lions. It's
the Lions, yeah.
The Lions are going to lion just like the Chargers are going to Charger.
Right.
Watch your kneecaps.
So I think 3-3 in the division is totally fair. The way I see like 8 and 9 is probably my prediction right now, but I could see them winning as few as 6 games just because they're a young team. They still have some holes in this roster. But if Justin Fields goes berserk this year, I could see 10 or 11 games certainly being a possibility because it's not a very difficult schedule, at least on paper right now.
No, but I mean, you do have wild cards like, okay, you got Buccaneers with Baker Mayfield. That could either go really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the two Thursday night games are going to be wild cards too, because it's, short weeks on both of them. And the Commanders and Panthers are 2 teams that you really don't know what to make out of them either way.
No, Broncos are a wild card with Sean Payton and Russ, like we talked about. Raiders are a wild card with Jimmy G. Saints are a wild card. How is Derek Carr going to do? I mean, there's schedule, I think. But anything else you guys want to add as far as the schedule goes?
No, I think we can.
No, I think we're good.
Keep rolling.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to be running long today. I mean, not that I care, but maybe the audience does. Okay, moving on to the Hawks. We'll just make a quick note of this. Agreed to a 2-year deal for goaltender Arvid Soderblom. Soderblom. There's only one O.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. I don't know.
Okay.
One of the two.
Well, we signed a goalie.
Yeah.
He's a guy.
Yeah.
He's a guy. Notes I have in here, he spent most of the last year in Rockford, so already in the farm system. Got a little bit of time up on the big team last year and should hopefully get a chance to compete with Peter Mrazek for the starting goaltending position. Andrew, I know you're the big Hawks guy in here. Anything? No,
I mean, just solid deal. I think you just want to shore up the goaltending on this roster, and certainly, again, Connor Bedard's going to be a Blackhawk in a couple of weeks here, so that's really what.
Yeah, that's all we care about.
That's all. Really, honestly, that's all I'm looking forward to right now. So.
All right. Well, then with the Bulls, I'm going to handle this and gloss over it really quickly just so we don't turn into another Jerry Reinsdorf rant. Draft lottery is tomorrow, the 16th. So probably by the time any of you are watching and listening, it will be today. May 16th, draft lottery, going to find out if the Bulls get to keep their first round pick or if they get no picks, which is most likely. So with that being said, that wraps up our main coverage for the week. Guess we'll roll into our 4 stars of the week. Nick, would you like to go over our first one?
I would. Our first star of the week is Alex Caruso, Bulls guard, for becoming the first Italian-American to win NBA First Team All-Defense. Hear, hear.
Yeah. Oh, that's why you're wearing the Italy jersey.
Yeah, if you're not watching on YouTube and just listening on the podcast, I am wearing my Italy soccer jersey.
And how'd the World Cup go for you guys? Oh, sorry, you weren't there.
Yeah, well, we won the Euros, so I mean,
yeah, but nobody
cares about the Euros. Nick and I are both Italian, so this is really special for us.
Yep, it's a big moment for our people.
Yeah.
All right.
There's so many comments.
Yeah, I'm cutting that off real quick. Drew, would you like to go next?
Yeah. Our second star of the week is going to be the Chicago Bears PR team for putting together that schedule release video. I thought it was a really cool concept. You had a lot of the old Bears back, like Charles Tillman was in the video. I believe Spice Adams in the video. I think
he was.
Spice was
Spice Adams in the video.
It's hard to miss Spice.
He was doing his usual shenanigans. They somehow got, for some reason, Annie Agar in the video to dress like a Lions fan, even though she's a Packers fan.
And Seth Rollins from the WWE.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was really cool to see that. I just like the entire concept of having the schedule release as like just an old school style burger joint in Chicago. Like just it felt old style Chicago joint.
Well, that was parody. It was a parody of a show on. It was originally on FX, but it's on Hulu if you want to watch it. It's called The Bear. I hadn't watched it, but that schedule release made me start watching the show. It's really good.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll check that out then.
One of the guys in it is I can never remember his name, but he was also in Shameless, which is also set in Chicago.
But not filmed in Chicago.
Gotta love that.
Anyway, we're getting sidetracked again, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I thought it was really cool. I think it was one of the better schedule release projects of the entire schedule drop. Honestly, I like Tennessee Titans are the winner for me. We don't have to get into that again, but I thought it was really cool, and hopefully it can lead to some more wins this year, which is probably the most important thing. But definitely,
I'd say so.
Yeah, definitely the most important thing.
The most important part.
Yeah, but pretty cool job with the Bears PR team.
All righty. Teige, which one do you want? Do you want the last one?
I'll just go and let's go. The third for our third star of the week, Yan Gomes hits a home run on his return. I think got a win, or no, he got the loss in that one, but then he ended up getting a win quickly, and you can already tell just the difference with him behind the plate. For the most part, it's better. So Yan Gomes, this star is for you.
All right, and the last star of the week is, you can probably guess it, Christopher Morel, for being the only thing we've had to look forward to with the Cubs all week. Yay. Again, he is crushing it, and we're really glad that he is finally back up. So with that being said, we've got our 4 stars covered. Going to move on to the SWFU segment, all the stuff that we got wrong. Most
just Jordan.
Shame on Jordan. Womp womp. So the first thing I messed up was Sean Taylor played free safety, not cornerback. Covered that in my Jackson Mahomes rant. Also in my Jackson Mahomes rant, I actually undershot his maximum prison sentence. I think I said it was 45 months. His maximum prison sentence for all of his charges is actually 55 months. And I couldn't find any information on what the monetary fine would be, so I'm not sure on that. And then the last thing, not really something we messed up, but the Cardinals have come out and said that Wilson Contreras will in fact be catching for them again. Sounds like an organization in a dumpster fire to me, but so again, we didn't really mess that up. It's just the Cardinals not really knowing what they actually want to do with Wilson and being a joke of an organization.
Yeah, they just proved me wrong within like 4 days.
And, but they threw him under the bus. They threw Neil under the bus.
They've thrown everybody. That Cardinal way is just not,
it's not the same anymore.
No.
Cardinal way was Yadier Molina, and he's not there anymore. So.
And Matheny.
Yeah, true.
They should rehire Tony La Russa.
Yeah, we saw how well that went.
Then they win again, and then you're like, great, awesome.
All right, so we do need to get moving. We'll go on to the complete 180. This week we are going to start with Andrew. So, Andrew, if you would like to take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those who maybe not have been following, but NBA playoffs going on right now. We're getting to the conference championships right now, actually. So it's been a really exciting playoff season for the NBA. We've had a lot of historic performances, and one of the main storylines coming from this week was LeBron James leading the Los Angeles Lakers to the conference finals once again. And LeBron had a classic, LeBron game, really turned back the clock against the Warriors to kind of close out that series. Classic 39-9 game on good efficiency. He looked like he's definitely older LeBron, but he looked like a little bit closer to, that the all-time great that he is. But
that bald spot though. Sorry.
That's never going to go away. Anyway, where was I at? Anyway, what that did is basically we've had this entire string of dialogue now resurfacing again about LeBron, being the GOAT over Michael Jordan, which for those, obviously all of us as Chicago sports fans, Michael Jordan is going to be the GOAT for, I think, all of us. I guess I can't speak for all of us, but for me, especially, Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And I could back this up from the statistical case. Michael Jordan, you look at him as a playoff performer, he's a better playoff performer on average than LeBron James. He has, I think, a better playoff resume than LeBron James, even though LeBron James, and here's the thing, I don't want to use this as a period to just crap on LeBron, because he is the number 2 player definitively for me. There isn't an argument. And if you're going to make an argument for a guy as the number 1 guy besides Michael Jordan. Like LeBron James is the only guy that has a credible case, and it's a pretty close case in my opinion. But I think Michael Jordan is still a little bit of ahead, and LeBron James, this part of his career, he can only improve his legacy, not really, make it even worse. He's still like one of the best players in the NBA, 38 years old. Like he's ridiculous. So I don't want to take anything away from him. But the funniest thing that I saw out of this Lakers thing is that they're talking about LeBron James because he beat the Warriors, being this, guy who destroys all these teams and ends all these great teams runs and whatever. And some of the teams they were talking about were like the Pistons of the 2000s, the Celtics with KG and Ray Allen and Paul Pierce, the OKC Thunder when they had Kevin Durant, Russell Westbrook, and James Harden, the Warriors, obviously, in the dynasty that they had. And I think one of them was like the Spurs, even though like LeBron lost to the Spurs. So I don't even know how that makes any sense. But I just want to go through this here because we compare this to Michael here. Because if we're going to make this comparison, let's make this comparison. So first of all, LeBron James didn't even knock out the best Pistons team. Michael Jordan did. He ended the bad boy Pistons coming off of 3 straight finals appearances and 2 straight finals victories. Here's the thing. The Pistons that LeBron beat didn't even have their best player on that team. Ben Wallace was the Chicago Bull with the afro going on and everything at that time. He wasn't even on the Pistons at that point. So to say that he ended the Pistons, no, the Pistons ended when Ben Wallace left the Pistons. Whatever. LeBron did his thing there, did a great job. Move on to Boston, okay? And yeah, he ended Boston here, the Big Three Celtics. But, I mean, guess what? The head coach of the Boston Celtics at the time was Doc Rivers, who was like the biggest choke artist in NBA history among head coaches. We just saw him blow another 3-2 series lead against the Boston Celtics this past weekend. And also, like, every single player on that Celtics team was like 50 years old. Like, congratulations, LeBron James. You beat a bunch of 50-year-olds who should have been in a retirement home at that point. Great job. Compare that to Michael Jordan ending the Showtime Lakers, who Magic Johnson's still playing at an MVP level, James Worthy in his prime. Kareem wasn't there anymore, but they still had a really solid roster around those two guys. Whatever. Moving on to the OKC Thunder. That one, I guess that you can give that to them because, James Harden had to be traded the next year because of salary cap reasons. Give that credit to LeBron James. But if we're going to do that,
yeah, the dynasty that was the Oklahoma City Thunder,
who won 0 championships, by the way, and only made it to one NBA Finals. Okay, let's compare that to the Bulls. Michael Jordan beating the Portland Trailblazers in '92. Not only did the Trailblazers make 2 NBA Finals during that run that they had against the Bulls, but you look at Clyde Drexler, who was the second best shooting guard in the NBA at the time. The year before, in that 92 season, he averaged 25 points per game. He was one of the best players in the NBA. The very next season, he was so psychologically damaged from Michael Jordan beating him in the NBA Finals that his points per game dropped 6 points per game the next year, and his field goal percentage dropped nearly 5 points, percentage points. So, like, Michael Jordan, did psychological harm to this man, and he never recovered after that. If you want to put that into perspective right there. Again, neither team winning championships right there, so whatever. And then the Warriors thing, again, LeBron lost the Warriors 3 times in the NBA Finals. So, congratulations, you ended their dynasty run, but you lost to them more times than you beat them. So,
and you only ended it because KD isn't there.
That's correct. It's correct. So I just wanted to point that out there. And also, to end this thing here, Michael Jordan will never have on his resume what LeBron James did in the 2011 NBA Finals, where he completely just it's one of the worst NBA Finals. Oh, and one more thing for Michael Jordan's favor. He prevented Karl Malone from winning an NBA championship, known child rapist Karl Malone. So that's another win for Michael Jordan as the GOAT there.
I'm with you, Andrew. I'm with you, buddy.
I rest my case. I'm going to leave the floor to you guys, and I think I went over my 3-minute mark, but I think it was worth it.
So, in regards to the Karl Malone thing, do we need to add an allegedly? I don't want to get sued like Brett
allegedly, but
okay.
What? Like allegedly, John Morant has a gun?
Correct.
I mean, that's on video, but.
We still have to say alleged because there's no conviction.
Allegedly.
So
That's true.
fair.
I'll say allegedly. Alleged child rapist Karl Malone. How about that?
Okay, there we go. I think we are legally covered now.
Perfect.
All right. So I think we're gonna do my 180. Gonna be less of a rant and more just funny for me this week. So for those of you that don't know who Zach Greinke is, he's a pitcher currently on the Royals. He has had stints. He started his career in Milwaukee, then went to Kansas City, then went to Arizona, I think. Then he was definitely on the Diamondbacks for a little bit.
He started with Kansas City.
Started with
Started
Kansas.
with Kansas
Okay,
City.
sorry,
Went to
I'm
Milwaukee.
getting it out of order.
Went to the
SWFU.
Dodgers. Went to the Diamondbacks. Went to the Astros. Went back to Kansas City.
Back to Kansas City. Okay, so he's been around the league for a while. He really is a very talented pitcher. He just recorded his 1,000th different batter that he has struck out. So not 1,000 career strikeouts, 1,000 different hitters he has struck out, which he is only the 6th person in MLB history to accomplish that feat. And you'd think, you'd be really excited that you get to join this elite list of pitchers, like I think it was Randy Johnson and Roger Clemens and people like that. You have not seen any Zach Greinke interviews. This man is freaking hysterical. I'm going to summarize the interview briefly, and then we'll link the video in the description to our video. But, the reporter's like, oh, Zach, were you like super excited that, you reached this milestone? And he's like, yeah, it was nice. Oh, well, was it cool that your teammates celebrated with you? Yeah, they got a little more excited than normal after a strikeout, so I figured something was up. Oh, well, did you keep the ball? No, I think a fan has it. Like, this is just incredible. And again, this is just typical Zach Greinke. He's had some other awesome moments. Nick was telling me he went on a rant about not wanting to pay extra for Chipotle guacamole one time. There's clips of there's
a man who's made millions of dollars throughout his career, and he's with the people complaining about the price gouging at Chipotle. It's great.
Another awesome one. He's done this numerous times, a couple times in spring training, and I know a few times in real games, but he would literally, like, instead of Zach Greinke calls his pitches, the catcher does not do that for him. And he would literally go and look at the catcher, look at the hitter, and go fastball, and just tell the hitter exactly what he's going to throw, and he'd still strike the guys out because he's just that good. But Zach Greinke is a very unique person. He's hysterical. I think he's just super down to earth and doesn't really like being in the spotlight all that much is kind of what it boils down to. But he's had some excellent interview moments, and this is just another one of them. Congratulations, Zach Greinke. It is a very unique accomplishment. Again, one of only 6 pitchers in MLB history to do it. And he's just a fun guy to watch.
Yeah, he's a unique competitor, and he has he almost didn't play baseball because he has massive social anxiety. So getting interviewed with all these cameras and mics in his face, that the dude doesn't like it. He once got asked by a teammate, like, he's like, what do you think we can do to improve the team? And Greinke got back to the teammate the next day, and he's like, I'd trade you. like what like he's unhinged, man. One guy asked him for like Greinke was like, come back here, I want to show you something, for like hitting tips. And the guy thought that like he was gonna show him all this tape about like how to improve his swing mechanics. It was Zach Greinke himself hitting a home run. He's like, more of that. I forgot. He's like, what an unhinged dude.
Before DHs, it was like him, Mad Bum, and Arrieta were, I think, the 3 best hitting pitchers in the league.
Carlos Zambrano's
good. Okay, that wasn't all at the same time.
Because Greinke wanted to play shorts. Greinke thought pitching was so easy, he begged the Royals to let him like restart at AA so he could be a shortstop. And they're like, no, dude, you're a pitcher. And he's like, yeah, if you've never looked up this man, look him up. Crazy history. But
Teige, you mentioning that, I have heard that before. I forgot. Somebody did a YouTube documentary on Zach Greinke a few years back, and that's where I heard that from. So you can definitely look that up on YouTube.
Yeah, well, it's either Made the Cut or Baseball's Not Dead. One of those 2 guys.
Yeah,
they do a lot of those.
I'll try and dig it up and put that in the description too, because they did a really good job on that documentary. But yeah, super unique dude, really, really phenomenal baseball player, and he does have some all-time great interview moments because you can tell he does not want to be there at all. So,
No, he does not. All right, moving on. Are we moving on to me? Get this ball rolling.
You are next.
All right,
And
my
gonna piss
my
people
complete
off, I
180.
feel like.
Yes, my complete 180 today is top 10 most overrated bands of all time. Now, friends, when I made this list, I had to ask myself, would including this band offend a large group of people? And if the answer wasn't yes, I didn't put them on there. Anyways, here we go. Number 1, Rolling Stones. I have never met a person in my life that's like, ooh, man, I've spent countless hours listening to the full Rolling Stone albums on repeat. All right, sure, they have some good songs, but I would hope so. Okay, they've been around for too long. Been around for like 7 years. They're overrated. My favorite song by them, "Dead Flowers," beautiful song about a friend that dies on heroin overdose. That's it. Okay, overrated. I don't know why we always talk about them so much. Overrated. Number 2, the Beatles. Look, the Beatles are in my top 10 of bands. All right, hey.
No, I agree with this, actually.
They're in the top 10 of my own personal bands. All right. I was listening to Let It Be today. That being said, can we stop acting, for the love of God, stop acting like everything that John and Paul wrote was a godsend. Okay. They have some bad songs. You can't tell me that they're perfect musicians when Wild Honey Pie is a song that exists. Oh, God. All right, here we go. Number 3, the Deftones. Dear Deftones fans, yeah, they're not the second coming of music, okay? I've listened to their whole discography. I like some of it a lot. I think Hexagram is one of the best shoegaze metal songs I've ever heard in my life. They're not God tier, and we got to stop acting like they are. Every single time you meet a Deftones fan, they're like, they saved me from myself. And you're like, how, man? Like, it's just like, it all sounds so similar to each other, and they've been doing it for 25, 30 years. Overrated. Number 4, AC/DC. I feel like I don't even have to explain it. I only know one person in my life that's like an actual AC/DC fan, and I try to make fun of him for it every chance I get. If I have to hear Thunderstruck one more flipping time in my life, I'm gonna lose it, dude. And what's worse is in the military has USO things, like there's like a USO playlist. So like anytime we go to like a military event, they have like yeah, we're pumping up the soldiers, pumping up the troops, and it's Thunderstruck, We Will Rock You, Hell's Bells, and We Are the Champions. And somehow you listen to those 4 songs like 20 flipping times before you leave the event. I hate it. No more AC/DC. Number 5, Nirvana. Kurt Cobain doesn't hold exclusive rights to being sad and horny. We get it. Number 6, 9 Inch Nails. Neither does Trent Reznor. Okay, industrial rock, more like I use a drum machine. Am I right, fellas? Number 7, Sublime. All right, another one of my top 10. I don't know. I don't even know if that's top 10. No, yeah. Number 7, Sublime. Another top 10 band for me. That being said, okay, Bradley Knoll, insanely talented. He was also just lazy. All right. Half the songs that they did that are your favorite songs were covers. He was high all the time. You can't tell me they're a musical powerhouse when Robin the Hood exists in this universe. Okay. That album, I've listened to that album hundreds of times. Why? I don't know. I hate myself. It's not good. Like they did it in a crack house. Stop saying that Bradley Knoll was like some insane guitarist. He was good. He wasn't the best. Number 8, Panic at the Disco. Another top 10 band for me. But let's be real. Brendan Urie was never able to match Ryan Ross's lyrics. The songwriting never was as good as the first album. It's a good move that he finally cut it loose, okay? I like what he did. He did his own thing. But I think from here on out, it should just be Brendan Urie. Number 9, Disturbed. Did you guys know that they're still around? I didn't know that they're still around. Like, I legitimately had to Google Disturbed making this list because I didn't think that they were still a band. Like, they could call it quits tomorrow and nobody would bat an eye. Okay? Like, when Sum 41 announced that they're breaking up, everybody was like, this was the band that got me into music. I've never been like, ooh, Disturbed, like, got me into music. I don't know how they managed to hold on this long with Down with the Sickness. I think they did like 10,000 Fists in the Air. Cool, whatever. Who cares? Their second most popular song on Spotify is Sound of Silence. For those of you who don't know, that's a cover. Before I get to my last one, I want to do some honorable mentions. Red Hot Chili Peppers. Come on. Like, who still listens to Red Hot Chili Peppers? Foo Fighters.
Me.
Let's be real. Nobody's ever done. And finally, Metallica. All right. I don't think anyone's never.
I hate you.
There it is.
I knew it was coming this whole time, and I hate you.
Listen, has anybody besides Nick DiCola, can anybody name a song by them after Reload that's not Cyanide? Give me fuel, give me fire, give me something that isn't tired. That's what I have to say about that. Anyways, that's my top 10 overrated bands of all time.
Dude, if we still all lived in Mundelein, you would be annihilated.
I'm booking a flight right now.
To the next time for top 10 most overrated movies of all time.
Oh god, dude, you like 90% of everything you mentioned is shit I listen to. So
Here's the thing. Okay, this is why we have to all
Everyone hates us now,
along
Teige.
the joke. Look, if I'm not going to grow this podcast by making friends, I'll grow this podcast by making enemies. Okay.
dude,
And that's the thing. Half the bands I included are also in my top 10. Okay. I'm also aware enough to realize that like we got to stop praising some of these bands like they're, the second coming. That's all.
I don't know. Disturbed is one of the coolest musical memories I have. I won't get into it, but I got to see
sentence I've ever heard.
No, they did. No. So I got to the okay, now you're gonna make me tell it.
No.
The dealership I worked at before I moved out here, we sold the drummer of Disturbed, Mike Wengren, a Ram TRX, which is a souped up pickup truck, basically. He has a brewery in Oconomowoc, Wisconsin, and he did his 50th birthday party there, and it was open to the public. And David Draymond, Mike was there, and then I can't remember the other guy's name. I want to say he was the guitar player. They were all there. They were missing the bassist, but they got on stage and did a version of Man in the Box. And dude, it was freaking mind-blowing. Like they nailed it. It was so good. But obviously, to Teige's point, if we're going overrated, it was a cover. So very good cover, but cover. So anyway, Nick, I will let you do your 180 now.
Alrighty. Okay, so this week I want to talk about the NHL Draft Lottery, more specifically how we can improve upon it as a way to determine draft position in the NHL. Because even though we as Blackhawks fans have gotten the benefit of it, getting Patrick Kane before and now Connor Bedard, a lot of people really don't like it, and they look for different solutions all the time. People don't like that a team's fortune can change on the whims of Gary Bettman's balls, and that's something I can understand. And then I started thinking about another trend that's been going on in the NHL. So if you've watched NHL, if you watched maybe like in the 80s and then you watch now, you'll notice that fighting is at an all-time low. The drop is understandable because teams don't want to waste a roster spot on, just a one-dimensional goon who's just there to fight and defend the Stars. And some people see this as a good thing. It's just kind of getting phased out. But part of me can't help but feel that hockey loses something without fighting. When you go to a NASCAR race, part of you hopes you get to see a crash. When you go to a circus, part of you hopes that you pick the night when the tiger decides he's had enough. And then when you go to a hockey game, part of you hopes you get to see a fight. So with this in mind, here's how we fix the draft system. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce to you the Chubbs Peterson Memorial Draft Tournament. Here's how this is going to work. Every team that didn't make the playoffs selects one player that will drop the gloves in this single elimination tournament. They get seeded 1 to 16 in reverse standing order. So the player from the worst team gets the 1 seed, next worst team gets 2, etc. And then we let them fight. It's a single elimination tournament. Each fight is 1 3-minute round. The player with the higher seed starts with points. That is the difference of the seed. So like in a 2 versus 9 matchup, the 2 seed starts with 7 points. You got 1 point for a clean landed punch, 4 for a takedown. TKO, of course, is an auto win. Last man standing wins a hefty cash prize, and his team gets the top pick. Now, I know you guys have some questions and some reservations. I prepared a quick Q&A.
I have zero. I have zero. I'm fully on board. You can stop talking. I'm in.
So I prepared a quick Q&A. Question number 1. This is inhumane. My answer to that is not a question. Question number 2. Is this going to be like a dumb celebrity boxing thing in a ring? Answer to that is no. This happens at center ice in an NHL stadium in front of thousands of screaming fans. The first one's going to be held in Philly. That just feels right. Question number 3.
Sure.
Why is this tournament named after Chubbs, a fictional golfer, and not like a hockey player? Answer to that is because Chubbs is a legend and he deserves some damn respect.
Damn right.
Question 4. How does this eliminate tanking? How does this help limit tanking? Answer, it doesn't. Question 5. How is this any more fair than the draft lottery? Answer to that is, look, man, if you want fair, let's just go back to reversing the standings or read up on the gold plan. I think that's a pretty interesting, actual solution. But if you want pure fan entertainment, Chubbs Peterson Memorial Draft Tournament, who's with me?
I'm in, dude. I'm like you said, the party you wants to see a fight at a hockey game, the full me.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going to a hockey game, I want to see a fight. Like
Look,
if I don't see a fight, I'm disappointed. I went to high school games when we were in Carmel, and I went to a couple of the Carmel games. Every time I wanted, like, because Carmel's very like, if you fight, you're done. I want to see some kid just like take one for the team and be like, I'm gonna annihilate some kid today. Like,
so Nick, I don't know if you remember, but when we were in Cub Scouts, there was a partnership with the Chicago Wolves, which is not the Blackhawks affiliate. I can't remember who they're affiliated with right now, but
Nashville, I believe.
They did a partnership for discounted tickets with a bunch of the Cub and Boy Scout troops. And there was no better way to get a bunch of 9-year-old boys amped up than seeing some people drop the gloves at center ice and go at it. Like, that is all we wanted. We did not care. We did not know how hockey worked. All we wanted to see was two grown men just beat the crap out of each other. That is
I'm
all we got
26.
excited for.
I don't know how hockey works. I want to see that, man. Like, I don't care. Like, give me fighting.
I like it.
I'm all for it, Nick. All for it.
All right, I'm here to answer any follow-up questions.
No
you might
questions,
have.
Your Honor.
No questions.
Feel free to, if you have questions for Nick or would like to express your support, you can feel free to tweet at him at NDecola21 or at the podcast at 4-Star Pod Shy.
Clip this video, put it as our video first, like, short that we're doing this week, because that's gold. That's
that is 100%. That was the plan.
I spent a lot of time writing that bands thing. That
I think the only one I'm not going to clip is myself. I think you guys kind of blew me out of the water there. So anyway, I think that'll about wrap it up for us this week. As always, thank you everybody for watching and listening. If you are watching on YouTube, please like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Again, our goal here is to make this bigger and better so that we can be coming to your ears and your eyes more often. We want to make this more episodes than once a week, but got to make sure we can afford to quit our day jobs first. So if you're listening, send the link out, Spotify, Amazon, Apple, all that fun stuff. We will be back again at our regularly scheduled Sunday evening recording time slot. Until then, again, I am Jordan DuPont, joined with Nick DeCola, Teige Mullen, and Andrew Freeman. You can check us out on Twitter at 4-Star Pod Shy, CHI. Nick is at NDecola21. Teige is at TM Mullen 007. And Andrew is at AJ Freeman 25. You can also check him out writing for the on 2 Sports. Check out the Picks for Polls podcast. Did I get it all? Win. All right. Thanks again for watching and listening, and we will see you guys back ranting and raving next week.